Alright, this is the weird issue 1. Here comes the weird. What is the weird? Who is, what is, how is the weather? You might know this cover, this excellent cover. It ran as an outside in many titles. The glowing person surrounded by onlooking Justice League members. And the question, what is the weird? A tantalising mystery for you to unravel, and the first issue is wonderfully just that. The first issue is however many pages of keeping you in the dark of what the weird is. And like the Justice League on the cover and in the story, you are only a witness to the advent of the weird. This issue, this series, is one of many collaborations between writer Jim Starman and artist Benny Wright brothers. As far as the writing goes, it is not Jim Starman's best. This first issue, though, is a tremendous excuse to have Benny Wright brothers draw the shit out of superhero characters like Superman and the Justice League. Benny Wright brothers is best known and identified with his work in horror comics, notably co-creating Man-Thing with Lenny Wen. He had lengthy runs on DC's horror anthology books. He often did covers for horror-related comics, like this issue of Hulk, which has Swamp Thing, or much later, Etrigan the Demon, #1. In the 80s and 90s, he did many projects with Jim Starman, such as Batman the Cult, Punisher POV, point of view, and the Hulk and Thing graphic novel. He also did art for Punisher Becomes an Angel in the 90s. What may be his magnum opus, however, is the illustrated version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein that he did in 1983. What I like about this page is that we are presenting Superman in what is more traditionally a Batman image. This first issue doesn't explain much, and I will try to retain that quality. We have Jason Morgan. He is trying to open a bridge between this reality and another dimension. In doing so, he sets loose a field of energy from that dimension, which then attracts the attention of our superheroes. Superman here, and then also the then current Justice League. The Justice League team featured are the early roster for the Justice League International. The first announced lineup after Captain Marvel's, the real one, Biffy Baston, had departed. This has the continuity problem many guest appearances of this team have, in that Dr. Fate is with them even though he left before Captain Marvel's, the real one, Biffy Baston. Booster Gold is nowhere to be seen, and neither is Crimson Dynamo. We get to see our heroes react to and try to work out what this mysterious energy is. It's getting to see this team and these characters written by Jim Starman, which is the highlight of his scripting. We get to see him treat characters that were comedy routines very matter-of-fact and seriously. Green Lantern's, the Gary Gardner version, isn't just the obnoxious blowhard. He's also Green Lanterns. It's much like I have said of 90s Thor in Affinity Gauntlets. Jim Starman would come upon these changes in continuity and legacy characters, and he would treat them with the respect that the title they hold should have, rather than the characters themselves. If you haven't cottoned on yet, the energy is the essence that will become the Weird, our title character. This first issue is Response though, superhero response, them trying to understand the unknown. It's great, and it really lives up to that cover and that outside that teased the Weird as this big mystery. It's one of those issues that I enjoy more than everyone else, where we're really just seeing reaction from a range of characters. I would compare it a bit to Conquest of Champagne, issue 1 of Conquest of Champagne, an issue I love, but it really is just checking in on characters, really. And the truth is, the Weird isn't that intriguing once you get past the setup. The energy attaches itself to the recently deceased body of a man called Walter Langley. Walter Langley's body is going to be our physical host for the energy, because the energy is actually one of the 2 life forms in that other dimension. It cannot really exist in our dimension without a corporeal form like a body. It would just be like this energy. And here we see it strip and rebuild itself a shape to contain itself, using Walter Langley's corpse as the basis. You really can see Benny Wright Brothers' horror chops with the reverse decomposing of the body. What is the Weird? This is the Weird. It is an alien energy housed in an ugly body dressed like a ninja. The Weird doesn't go on to be a big character after this miniseries. In fact, his appearance in Who Is Who was for a long time his only appearance outside of his introduction, but we will come to his eventual reappearances. Continuing on, we keep exploring what this thing is. The Justice League try to analyse and learn what this alien is. And it is here at the top of this page where it gets its name. Blue Beetle calls it the Weird. We next get a display of the various superpowers that the Weird has. Super strength. He pushes the Vision away with ease. Incredible ugliness. He cannot look at himself in the mirror. And the main one is density control, which is very, very, very similar to a Marvel character who I cannot name right now because it would confuse people a bit, that we also just saw the Weird attack a character with the same name. The Weird, it escapes from the Justice League. And so we have a little combat between it and the Justice League. Good show for Dr. Fate and also for Captain Atamant. I say good show. They don't manage to stop the weird. What did stop the weird is that I don't think anyone but Jim Starman really cared or saw anything in the character. His return didn't happen until 2007. Jim Starman brought him back 20 years later and used him in a few of his DC works. He sent the weird into space because that is where Jim Starman's little corner of the DC universe that he carved out was set. He had a non-team, a group of space characters. Stephen Strange was the unofficial leader. Comet Man, one of the Starmans, Backward Superman. They were a team across 3 different minis by Jim Starman. I don't think the Weird is even on the cover, I'll show. He was more of a supporting character. He was used for comedy a lot too. He was the odd one out, the fish out of water, the alien to whom everything appears alien. We explored some religious ideas with the Weird and his reincarnation, or his reincarnation. And we have... well, let's just fucking knock the nail on the head. The Weird is Alan Watson. Most of these stories were blatantly Marvel ideas that had been given a different coat of paint. It's the Universal Church and Alan Moriarty, and the big bad is Thanius, who goes back to a 90s series called Hardcore Station. Have a laugh about that. Awful name. Hardcore Station. And yeah, that stuff is in those stories too. The main character from Hardcore Station is on the team, and the villain, Sinar, well, with him it's not even concealing the fact that it is Thanius. He is Red Thanius. Apparently, Jim Starman brought the Weird back for a 3rd time. In the New 52, he was writing Storm Wank, and the Weird was on it. I only found out about that before recording this. I should also say he has another character, a creator-owned one, I think, that is also called, kinda, Weird, and it uses the same black and red colours, but they're different characters, they are unrelated. After our initial setup, the Weird embarks on a very by-the-numbers plotline about other dimensional aliens at war. Jason Morgan, the guy from the start, the Jason as he is called, represents the other race from this dimension. And what was meant to be the heart of the story is very predictable. We have the vestiges of Walter Langley, his memory and personality within the Weird. And here he is reuniting with his grieving son, darling little Enoch. I don't think The Weird is a great series. The art is, and the first issue is a great example of the much derided mystery box approach to writing. It's not about who or what The Weird ultimately is. It's about us sharing the mystery with the characters. I think I recommend this first issue as a good achievement of everything that its cover and advertisements teased. I'll give it a 7 thumbs up.